He really has been challenged. He has faced death on numerous occasions, and it has really challenged his thinking about leadership. And it really is around that ability in that moment to see beyond and take really firm action. He's been a survivor right at the edge of human endurance, and it still leaves him questioning, you'll be very happy to know, whether any limits actually exist. Please put your hands together for our keynote speaker, Earle de Blonville.
Now, you may have noticed we've got a film here today. We're actually making a movie, and we've got various roles to play in this movie. My role is to tell you about leadership, and at the end, your job is to do a standing ovation. And so is everybody happy with their roles? Good. Chris, if there's any dissenters, take them to the dungeon. Of course, being an entrepreneur, as you know yourself, the snow in front of you has no footprints at all. It's always clear. The only footprints are yours. You're the ones, or I should say ours, as entrepreneurs. We're out there pushing a trail through the snow, and other people are following us. And of course, people can look at our expensive watches and beautiful suits and nice cars and flash offices and so on and think, wow, they're very successful. But of course, they don't know about the sleepless nights we have worrying where we're going to raise the next tranche of finance from to fund the next stage of our growth, how we're going to handle a cash flow that's beginning to falter, looking at our debtors ledger. And of course, other people don't see all of the mistakes we make that we have to live with. And of course, at every time we make a decision, we don't know if it's a right decision or the wrong decision. And not being part of a major corporation, there aren't any financial buffers to pick up the damage should we make a wrong one. And of course, as we're getting on through our business and our business is growing, at each level of the growth, we've got to move from being one kind of a leader to another kind of a leader, and so on, and step up and let go of the small things, the rats and mice and bits of cheese, and step up to being the next kind of leader. Not knowing what that kind of leader should be, letting go of controlling things and letting other people do them, and so on. So as somebody who in life has probably made more mistakes than all of you put together, I'm next to Buckminster Fuller, I'm the world's leading expert on making mistakes. Here is the story of my journey into hell and back again, learning about leadership. And the only way to get there is by making mistakes. Australia's been associated with Antarctic exploration since the very first expedition down there, but for some odd reason, until 1986, no one had thought to go north. The Prince of Wales himself became the patron. This was the first time a British royal had been patron of a non-British expedition, and I'm here to tell you, he very nearly had a lot of egg on his face. We had the Prime Minister behind us, Lord Shackleton, the son of Sir Ernest, was behind us. The Minister for Science, Dame Elizabeth Murdoch, got behind us, Sir John Holland and John Bertrand and a bunch of other people all thought this was a fantastic idea, that we should head north and show the world what we could do. Then, of course, I needed to raise some money. And in today's values, I raised about $2 million. And you're all in business, you're all fabulously successful entrepreneurs. So you know how difficult it is to raise that sort of money, especially when there is absolutely no commercial benefit whatsoever in this enterprise. It's not going to return a dollar to anyone. And of course, we decided to make a film. Then, of course, I had to find some people. And you know how hard it is when you're getting started in business to find the right people. You know how hard it is just to let go of your business and get other people in for a start. And so there were no experienced sea kayakers around, and you're out on the ocean. This is not like being on a river. When you get tired, you just get off. When you're at sea, that's it for the day. There is no coming ashore. And if the weather gets bad, there's no turning back. You are totally and absolutely committed. And that takes a certain sort of a mindset. So I made my choice on people, on their attitude. I said, well, if you hire for attitude, they can always learn the skills. But if you hire for skills, quite often you get people who are complete bastards who have got lots of skills, but of course one bastard in a group can destroy the entire group. And we couldn't afford to have those sort of people up north when there were so many people involved in this, and I as a leader had so much responsibility, both upwards and downwards. When I was putting this expedition together, I went and stayed with Dr. David Lewis, who is one of our great Antarctic explorers, and he said, "Earle, when you're setting off on a major expedition into the unknown, you are morally obliged to exclude all possibility of rescue. And if you do that, if there's nobody going to ride to your rescue, you think differently. Your whole attitude, your whole engagement in the program is different because you're the only one that's going to make it work, as you know, as entrepreneurs." And my job is to fly up to Greenland, set up the advanced base, meet up with the film crew, start to learn a bit of the language, get hooked up with the locals and so on, because we were going down a coast that nobody actually knew anything about. There were no proper maps. And I met an old lady up there, Julietta, who made me these beautiful sealskin boots, hammocks. And she said, I have some friends that live on an island called Timiami, all the way down the coast. She said, could you take me with you? And I said, no, we're full. We can't take any passengers. She said, all right, I'll give you a letter to take to my friends down there. And what she didn't know, and what we didn't know, is that the government had closed down the community 16 years earlier. So that's how much anybody, even on the spot, knew about East Greenland. And, or the lower East Greenland, a very important part these days because East Greenland is the canary in the coal mine as far as global climate change is concerned.